Hollywood, California, movie capital of the world. Omaha, Nebraska, more famous for its grade A beef than its A-list movies. Two cities with not much in common.
That was until a couple of friends from Nebraska uncovered more than a sliver of Hollywood history, tucked away in the back room of a local antique store.
Marilyn Wagner and Deborah Ginsburg run a silkscreen business in Omaha. The two friends also share a passion for antiquing.
Every Saturday, the ritual was we would meet at 7 o'clock in the morning for breakfast and go to estate sales, garage sales, auctions, whatever was going on.
Every week, this ritual continued until a day in the fall of 1998.
This particular Saturday, we had been to some garage sales and some yard sales, a couple of estate sales, and we finally found ourselves in downtown Omaha.
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we were headed back to the office, and I said, let's make one more stop. And she said, no, I'm too tired. And I said, come on, one more.
Finally, she wore me down, and I said, okay, one more stop. So we walked into Frank's Antiques.
Frank's is one of the larger antique stores in Omaha, and Deb and Marilyn followed their usual routine of quickly scanning the displays.
And we walked into the back, and there on this table were these fabulous movie print blocks.
My God, Deb, look. Look at the blocks.
We started going through them, and we both fell in love with them.
Easy Rider, Mothra, The Sting.
Before computers had revolutionized the print industry, these blocks were used for printing movie ads in newspapers. The studios had the blocks manufactured for every release and then delivered to newspapers all over the country.
The theater owners could order these printing plates and run ads in their local newspapers. And first of all, they're very small, and they would typically be just sent to, again, to a local newspaper to take out a little eighth of a page or quarter page or column size advertisement for a particular film.
My gosh, look at this.
When we first looked at the blocks on the table, I kind of thought that maybe that was it, and I was thrilled with that, actually. Deb had the presence of mind to see if there were any more of these.
Well, there were some more. Stored in the back room were 600 boxes more, stacked 10 feet high, 60 to 70,000 of the little ad blocks. Here was a history of Hollywood in the form of specially created advertisements for virtually every film you've ever heard of, and all of those you haven't. Marilyn and Deb asked if they could buy them all.
And she jumped at it because she really wanted the room. They had been sitting there for over 20 years, so she really wasn't going to do anything with them.
Deb and Marilyn bought the 70,000 ad blocks for $2,000.
We had no idea at that point if they would still print. Now remember, some of these blocks are from the 1930s, so they're 50 years old. And we thought, well, you know, they look great, but they just may not work.
We decided, let's try and see if they will still print. And took them over to a print shop that I knew they had a letterpress. Put them on the letterpress, and sure enough, they would they call it a restrike, and the blocks and plates would restrike. So I found an old 1938 letterpress, purchased it. We moved that in and started restriking them, and they're as gorgeous today as they were 50, 60 years ago. And there it is.
The restrikes conjured up memories of movies from the past, from the classics to the Bs. Marilyn and Deb had stumbled upon a little-known facet of Hollywood history. But what was it doing in Omaha?
Omaha has always been a big printing town. We've been known for it. And the fact that our location is in the middle of the country made it very easy for this to happen here.
So this was why a piece of Tinseltown treasure was here in Omaha. But did this stuff have any value other than historic? Deb found an expert in movie memorabilia and gave him a call.
Great, thank you. His first response, actually first, second, and third, was, no, you don't. You don't have that. Those don't exist. Finally, I sent him a few, and he came here. And when he saw the collection, I mean, it knocked his socks off. They were appraised a little over $2 million.
$2,000 turned into $2 million. But now Marilyn and Deb had to figure out how to realize that sum, how to turn their warehouse full of blocks into cash.
I've sold a few of these over the years, and generally speaking, they bring $50 to a couple $100 a piece, maybe. Since the scope of the collection is so broad and covers such a big period of time in the film industry, it probably would add definite value to the collection.
But the true value of the blocks are as little pieces of nostalgia, tangible memories of specific films.
When I think back to being a teenager, to being a little kid that went to the matinee on Saturday afternoon, movies move us through our lives. And so when someone sees a movie block that's especially important to them, it brings out all that emotion. And for me, that's the kick, to share this with a lot of other people and to bring back a time that is very nostalgic. I think that this story is really one of old meeting new, technology-wise. The internet allowed us to share this with other movie lovers all around the country, and in fact internationally. We have got people all over the world who have purchased these movie blocks now and absolutely love them.
Marilyn and Deb have only begun to scratch the surface.
John Wayne, the Cowboys.
With thousands of movie blocks still in boxes, this is a treasure trove they will be mining for years to come.
Orana? It's got to be one of the biggest treasures I can imagine having. People might say, well, I'd rather have money, I'd rather have gold. I'd rather have the movies because it's a part of our culture. And I've got a very large part of that. It's pretty neat.